know that I'm living for the love of you. Oh, yeah. All that I'm giving is for the love of you. All that I'm giving is for the love of you. There's no that I'm living time you got in your bed, you cried all night. First time you kissed your mom, I was so happy. I am so in love with you.
Zoe,
First time you spoke a word, you said daddy. First time you went to the doctor, you screamed.
it don't hurt my baby now.
First time you went swimming, you had no fear. I am just so in love with you. Talk about so
My little princess,
talk about Sebastian.
you seem to be a king.
Sebastian and so talk about my babies. I am just so in love with you. To my kids,
To my kids,
my message to
my
you.
message to you
I will always be your protector forever.
forever.
You're my lovely
My
wife.
lovely wife,
You are so
you
kind.
are so
You
fine.
have given me two diamonds and more. And when I see my kids every day, I smile away. Certain times Daddy gotta make the money, so I'm gone all day.
No daddy gotta get paid.
Just remember I'm doing this music for my friend, my
I do it all for you.
I am just so in love with you. Talk about so
Princess,
talk about Sebastian. Sebastian and Soho. Talk about my baby. I am just so in love Okay, it's 11 o'clock. You got it. And then we'll come sit for the second half, okay? And we'll see you. You guys are right. You got it. You got it. It's 11 o'clock, so we got to start it. You thought I wasn't going to I think you thought
No, here, let me hear it. So I give this twice. Oh, okay. Yeah, so, check with the,
Okay.
she has a son, right? Be starting in just a few moments. We'll give everyone another opportunity to be about it before we get started.
We just need 6 more. And then as they got the designated time, so we can't like copy and stuff. We gotta disperse. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be the second time I give it at the end.
Who has the song?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think that song was out when she
Oh.
died, so I bought them.
Oh, sorry. We did it.
So it's Sid, that's when he was, I didn't but he is a
Okay, so it's going to
I won't be able to do the video, but I can do the sound.
yeah, just the song. Let's see, so.
You follow this one? All right.
This is what we tell it at
Okay, for those that would like to find their seats, we can do so. We're going to get started here in just a moment. And on behalf of the Walker Lewis family, we're certainly appreciative that you're able to be here this morning to enjoy this talk that will be given to really help us appreciate the hope that Cameron had and how we too can really benefit from that as well. You know, thinking about Cameron, 19 years of life that he had here, you can tell by the tears that we're shedding that all of us really cared so much for him. He really touched all of us in various different ways. And again, the grieving process, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's a way for us to really cope. You know, it's important for us to really, when we lose someone that we really care about, to really think deeply about them and how they touched us and how we can also help others as well. In fact, in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1, the Bible mentions how a good name is better than good oil. And really that is so true with Cameron. I mean, I had an opportunity to talk with him a few months ago, and it was his desire to come back and to worship Jehovah, to get his life together so that he could be able to do that for he and his family. And really what a fine example he really set in that regard. And two, his grandfather treated him just like a son. He also mentioned to him how he was working hard to try to get his life together. And really, through this talk, we're going to be helped to appreciate how we can do just the same as well. But again, in times like this, do we all not need comfort when we experience the loss of someone that is so close and dear to us? Again, the grief process, it's normal. It's a normal reaction to when we lose someone dear to us. In fact, the Bible mentions several examples of individuals who, in fact, did grieve when they lost someone close to them. We have the example of Abraham in Genesis 23, verse 2, who mourned at the loss of his wife Sarah, who was 127 years old. It mentions how he mourned and he wept for her. So this wasn't just a one-day thing and he got over it and moved on. This was a constant thing that continued to be in his heart, that he had missed his wife so much. And then two, when we think about the example or the account of Lazarus, we remember how Jesus Christ also, how he felt about his dear friend, and he had the power to bring this individual back. In fact, if we take a look at John chapter 11, verse 33 and 35, we'll notice how the greatest man who ever lived, how he reacted. There at John 11:33, it says, when Jesus saw her, speaking of Martha, weeping, and the Jews who had come with her weeping, notice, he groaned within himself and became troubled. He said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. And notice, Jesus gave way to tears. Now here's someone that had God-given ability to bring individuals back from the dead, and yet because he saw the reaction of others around him, that touched him so much that he too gave way to tears. So again, crying, grieving, these things there's nothing wrong with them. And certainly no one has the right to tell us how long we should grieve for an individual as well. Again, this could take a number of years for us to really get over these things. But along with that, when we think of the example that Jesus Christ set, we notice too that he really felt the same way that his father Jehovah did as well. In fact, if we turn to Psalm 147, verse 3, we notice the comfort that we can receive as well by turning to our Creator Jehovah, especially in times like this. That is Psalm 143 and verse 3. And notice what God promises to do for us, even during difficult times such as this. There it mentions, He heals the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds. So yes, all of us are brokenhearted over this tragic loss of Cameron here. But notice too that the wounds that we experience here, the grief that we're experiencing, it can take a number of years for us to get over that. But yet when we turn our attention to our God Jehovah, it mentions that He can bind up those wounds. And we're going to discuss today ways that we can have those wounds bound up, as well as a very beautiful hope that God has in store for all of us, and it's a hope that Cameron also held true as well. In fact, the Bible does give a hope for the dead. This will not continue on. This is not God's purpose for us to live a few years and then to expire. But yet it was His purpose for mankind to enjoy life forever on a paradise. Again, death was not a part of God's original purpose for us. But really, death is the result of mankind's disobedience. It mentions there in Genesis chapter 3, verse 19, that death was not a reward, but really a punishment because of Adam's sin in the garden. And as a result of us being descendants of Adam and Eve, all of us experience death and sin that goes along with it as well. In fact, we can liken this to a cake pan that has a dent in it. No matter how many different cakes are made in that cake pan, each one will bear that mark or have that distinction of having that dent in it. So likewise, as descendants of Adam and Eve, regardless if we had anything to do with it, we bear that mark, and we have the result of death as a result of that. But really, Jehovah our God has provided a sure hope that all of us can really benefit from. In fact, we can mention this as being a guarantee that God will eliminate death and the pain that goes along with it as well. Please turn in your copies of the Bible to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4. And notice the beautiful promise that God has made for all of us who continue to serve Him to the best of our ability and what we can look forward to. That's Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4. And it mentions, and He, speaking of God, will wipe out every tear from their eyes. And notice, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away. So yes, the tears that we are shedding here today for our dear loved one, Cameron, will soon be replaced with tears of joy when Jehovah brings him back and brings back all those that we have lost in a beautiful paradise that is soon to come. And we're helped to appreciate, too, that the Bible not only provides this beautiful hope for us, but it also helps us to appreciate the condition of the dead as well. Some of us may be wondering, well, what is Cameron experiencing? Or is he being hurt? Or where did he exactly go? Well, the Bible helps us to appreciate the condition of the dead. There in Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4 and 20, it mentions his soul or his life as a person. Of course, he has expired. But as Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5 and 10 mentions, that he is currently unconscious. It's like he's in a sleep or a peaceful state. He's not aware of even the talk that we're giving today. But he is resting in God's memory, awaiting a resurrection. Again, the Bible gives this hope to millions who have died in the past and are still dying, that they too can enjoy the prospect of life eternal by means of the resurrection. Well, how is this possible? How will God bring this to fruition? Well, again, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 22 and 23, it helps us to appreciate that the resurrection of Christ is a guarantee that unlocks this beautiful hope for us. In fact, Jehovah has appointed his Son, Jesus Christ, in due time to be the one that will bring back not only Cameron, but all those that we have lost to death as well. In fact, those who make up this group of meek-hearted individuals to be here on the earth will again be able to enjoy a beautiful paradise. Even those who lived and died in the past, they did not have an opportunity to even understand what God's will was for them by means of the Bible. They too will have the opportunity in paradise to apply these Bible truths that we are learning today and enjoy that prospect of life eternal. So really, how can you and I benefit from this talk today and from being here? Well, again, a funeral really reminds us of the brevity of life and really the uncertainty. One minute we're here, the next time we may not be. And at Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11, it really highlights just how quickly life can really go by. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11. And notice what it says here about life. There in verse 11, Solomon mentions, I have seen something further under the sun, that the swift do not always win the race, nor do the mighty win the battle, nor do the wise always have the food, nor do the intelligent always have the riches, nor those with knowledge always have success. Notice, because time and unexpected events overtake them all. And that's what happened to Dare Cameron here. It was an unexpected event that overtook him, unfortunately. And that's part of the life that we have currently. But very soon, God will eliminate death altogether and all the tears and pain that goes along with that. So for us today that are still here, how can we really benefit from this? Well, really, by the way that we live today, we want to make a good name with our Creator, Jehovah God. Jesus also set a fine example in doing this by the way that he lived his life. He wasn't focused on selfish pleasures or pleasing himself, but he used his life to help others come to a better and accurate knowledge of his Father so that they too would be able to benefit from these loving prospects that God has in store for us. Yes, by our zealous works and godly conduct, we can share in really sanctifying or setting on high Jehovah's name in the community. And again, the resurrection hope provides a wonderful incentive for all of us to learn and to do God's will. Yes, those who do so can be certain that they too will be able to see their dead loved ones living on an earth where we no longer have any sickness, no more problems that we see today, no more illnesses. All those things will be a distant memory. So really, we should use this occasion in the days ahead to do something very important. If you turn to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11, the Bible helps us to appreciate what we should be doing with our time. That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 11. There it reads, therefore, keep encouraging one another and building one another up, just as you are in fact doing. So yes, Cameron was always very encouraging to all of us. That's why we loved him so much. And now that he's not here, we miss him so much because we enjoy the encouragement that he provided to us. Likewise, we need to do the same for others. We need to build each other up, to encourage each other, so that one day we will again see our dear friend Cameron once again. So yes, as fellow believers, we want to remind others too of the need of support and also the sure hope that the Bible contains for us. So as we look at our final scripture that we'll look at today, may the words of the psalmist here be on the minds and hearts of all of us as we leave this building here today. That's Psalm chapter 9, verse 9 and 10. That's Psalm 9. Verse 9 and 10. It says here, and this is the comfort that we can experience, Jehovah will become a secure refuge for the oppressed, a secure refuge in times of distress. Those knowing your name will trust in you, and notice, you will never abandon those seeking you, O Jehovah. So yes, may all of us continue to seek our Creator, to build a wonderful relationship with Him, to understand what His will is for us, to allow him to become that secure refuge for us in times of distress, so that we can also enjoy the prospect of him never abandoning us and leading us into a beautiful new world where we again will see our dear loved ones and be able to enjoy the life that God originally had for all of us. Thank you. So at this time, we're going to close with a word of prayer. Jehovah God, we thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity to have a better understanding of why these things are happening, these unexpected events, but also the beautiful hope for the future that we can look forward to, where we never have to lose any of those that are close to us. We'll be able to continue to develop our relationship with you, enjoy the prospect of life eternal, with no more pain, no more suffering. What a beautiful promise that is. And we know that your word, when you give it, will be successful. There's nothing that can prevent that from happening. So again, we thank you so much for allowing us to be here, to have friends and family to draw comfort from, and may we continue to look for ways that we can use our life in such a way that brings glory and honor to you. It is with this prayer that we pray all these things in the merits of Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
So we can connect to the house.
I mean, not to be your blessing, yeah. Oh, that, you understand that? Yeah, sure, sure.
First cousin. Our kids. She didn't want to have and our boys were 8 months apart. 10 months apart. Cameron was right there, 8 and 10 months old. And I was trying to like talk less. It's fine. I said, yeah. He was like, you like to talk less. Pack your pack. See, look, that's she not gonna send it. Back up this for a second, y'all. Look at it. That way, boy. Girl, try to be patient. In that picture, you want to be patient. Look at it. He did that. I was like, what was that? I had to go, but she missed it. Remember, Julie used to pull up. I had to get that.
We do.
Pardon me, sir.
We love you, Cam.
We're going.
Big boss. Big boss.
Yeah, well, we just we did that what right after Kim. How did you get?
Did I?
They have years ago watching, but he's so silly. What? They were dancing at him saying,
Oh, and then 11. 11:45. Okay.
it's like certain stuff I had to do.
15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our streaming for Cameron at the funeral home. If you look in the links on the side of the live stream, you'll see a link for the graveside ceremony. I'm also going to post a link for the graveside ceremony on our Facebook page for the Healy Chapel. So if you'd like to view the graveside ceremonies, look for the link either on the page that you're viewing or look on our Facebook page for the Healy Chapel, and I'll have the link available there. We'll probably be doing the graveside ceremony in about 45 minutes. Thank you.
part of. This is not part of that link that you gave us, is it? It is. It's a separate link. Oh, I thought you were only just doing the. Okay, thank you. I didn't see him.
He left. Oh, okay. He's already left. I went in looking for him.
Okay. What's your name? Dave Lewis.
Dave Lewis, I'll tell him.
No, but that's why.
Y'all get stuck in the mud?
Welcome to gather around over here too.
Don't block me.
Everybody's all familiar with Lazarus. Now, you know what's interesting? Lazarus was Jesus' friend. He had a sister, he had two sisters, Lazarus, Martha and Mary. And this is just some of the things that happened. And we'll show you how Jesus felt. When Jesus heard that Lazarus had died, this sickness is not meant to end death, but is for to glorify God, so that the Son of Man may be glorified through him. I'm going to read that one more time, because this is what his sister said. So his sister sent a message to him saying, "Lord, see, the one you have affection for, he is sick." Verse 4 it says, "But Jesus heard it and said, this sickness is not meant to end in death, but for the glory of God, so that the Son of Man may be glorified through it." So Jesus loved Martha and Mary, and he went on to tell Martha. It says Martha heard that Jesus was coming, and she went to meet him, but Mary kept sitting at home. And Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Yet then I know that whatever you ask God, God will give you." This is what Jesus said, and this is what we're going to think about here with camp. And Jesus said to Martha, he said, "Your brother will rise." And you know what Martha said to him? In verse 24, Martha said, "I know he will rise in the resurrection on the last day." And Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. And the one who exercises faith in me, even though he dies, will come to life." Yes, as we mentioned in our talk earlier, Cam was meant to live. All of us here was meant to live. If we die by accident, by old age, or by sickness, that's not what God wanted us to be. He wanted us to live. And our final thought here, when we think about this, I want everybody to think about these words here that we mentioned here. In the last book of the Bible, it really helps us to see and reflect on Cameron's what Cameron meant for all of us. See, Cameron's death really is going to help us. You know why? We don't want no one to die, but we want to remember Cam. And we want to make sure that we live our lives so that we can live in peace also. Revelations chapter 21, verse 3 and 4. Last what the Bible says, and with that I heard a loud voice from the throne say, look, the tent of God is with mankind. He will reside with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them. And then this is the promise, and if you believe the Bible, this is true. The promise is this, and he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more, neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be anymore. The former things have passed away. So the Bible says it's going to pass away. No more crying. You know, you ain't going to have no tears, because the Bible said it. Tears will be gone. So we look forward to that. We look forward to Cameron wakes up. My mother, some of us have lost our mothers, our fathers, grandparents. They'll wake up according to the Bible, and we'll say, hey, Cam, what's going on, man? So let's look forward to seeing, because I look forward to it. I'm going to say, what's happening, man? You ready to play some ball? Because I'm nice and young, and I can run now. Me and David will be able to play. Where David at? We be able to get. Yeah, we may play. Yeah, we may able to get y'all young ones. But anyway, let's say a prayer, okay, as a family. Dear Jehovah God, dear Lord in the heavens, thank you for my grandson. I love him so dearly. He's a joy to my heart, a joy to all of our hearts. To Chevy and to Grandpa David and Latoya and all this. We love you, Jehovah. We love Satan.
Because he hears my voice.
I'm sorry. I was preaching to me. In our prayer, what we want to say, we all love our dear Cam. We're going to miss him, but you know, help us to have our strength. Help us all to bond together, be strong as parents, grandparents, as our friends and brothers and sisters, cousins. We want to be strong for ourselves and have the memories of Cam. We don't want to be sorrow. We want to be laughing and joy. We'll be able to see Cam again, as the Bible mentions in the resurrection. May you strengthen little Kinsley, and we take care of her as her kinfolk, and show her that how much love Cameron's family is. So bless all of us today, and please forgive us. And we always pray to you in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.